everyone. I'm Emily Crow, multimedia editor at Progressive Grocer. Welcome to Top Women in Grocery, a podcast focused on the trends, topics, and interests that move women forward in grocery retail. We're spotlighting extraordinary women in the grocery industry who have had successful careers and interesting lives, and who are also making a positive impact in their workplaces and in their communities. I'm here today with Laura Howell, Chief Data Officer at consumer brands agency CA Fortune. Laura has been in the CPG industry for more than 16 years, serving in various roles before joining CA Fortune in 2017. She was recently named one of Progressive Grocer's top women in grocery, and I'm excited to have her here today to talk about her role, optimizing the right data, trends in the food retail space, and more. Laura, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Great. Well, to start, I'm hoping you can tell us a bit about your career journey and how you landed in your current role with CA Fortune.
Yes, absolutely. I have had a very exciting career journey. I started my career after college with a large national sales broker, and I was very fortunate to get a wide array of account and brand experience there. Eventually, I was promoted to vice president of Center Store, and a couple years into that role, I met the CEO of CA Fortune at an industry event here in Chicago. And at that point in time, CA had just finished their 8th regional brokerage acquisition, which made them a national agency servicing coast to coast. And the CEO had an opportunity for someone to come into the organization and build out and lead national client management. So I took that role. I loved it because it allowed me to work with a variety of clients in all different aspects of their life cycles. And that's what really sparked my interest in data and technology. And a growth organization like CA was really the perfect place to find and foster this passion because it is such a tech-forward environment. So that's what brings me to where I am right now as Chief Data Officer of CA Fortune.
Wonderful. So what does that role at CA Fortune entail? And I realize it's probably never the same every day, but what does a typical workday look like for you?
Yes, hit the nail on the head. No typical workday. My role really varies widely depending on the specific needs of the organization. But generally speaking, what I'm charged with is overseeing the data strategy aligning to our company goals. And when I talk about the data strategy, I do mean more than just consumption data. I mean data from a much more macro standpoint, like financial data, HR's data, placement order data. All of this is data, and I'm responsible for agency-wide harmonization and integration of technology, processes, and information. So that really takes on many forms. A big part of my day-to-day is strategic planning. I do a lot of partnering with other leaders to align the data strategies and their overall business goals. Each business unit is very nuanced, as it is in any organization, and it's important for me to understand their key objectives before recommending a data management solution. That also brings me to another big part of my role, which is data governance and compliance. I'm working on this a lot right now.
Sure.
We're overhauling some of our internal tech-based resources and even rolling out some new ones within the agency. So essentially, I ensure that data policies are in place and adhered to. And last but not least, efforts geared towards continuous improvement. So this involves evaluating existing processes, identifying areas for enhancement, and then implementing those solutions.
Got it. Sounds like a very big job. And what can you tell me about some of the recent initiatives at CA Fortune that you've been a part of?
Yes, of course. That's a fun question. Here at CA, we utilize consumption data and we put it in a visualization platform that we call Agency Intelligence. And this Agency Intelligence tool ingests multiple sources of data, and we're continually enhancing the product based off of usage, logins, and internal employee and external client feedback. We recently partnered with Spins to further develop the tool, including more refined metrics for market positioning and brand white space. And this is a really fun project because our clients are already incredibly happy with the platform, but just to take it that next step further to the next version is going to be even better. So I like initiatives like that. Another one is the rollout of our CRM tool. And again, I mentioned it before, but customized to each area of our enterprise for their unique needs. Partnering with every pillar inside CA, from finance to client management to sales, has required lots of touch bases in terms of individual needs assessments and customized workflows. And the rollout of this has been a marathon. It hasn't been a sprint, but providing the support to our individual teams to make the sharing and communication of information that much easier is a big reward for me. The last one that I would touch on, and probably the most innovative project that I'm working on right now, is a brand new approach to category review management. We're working on setting up automation practices and tracking mechanisms, and I've really yet to see this type of approach in the CPG space. This one is still a little bit under wraps until we're ready to announce it, but I'm just so confident that it's going to make a big impact to our current clients and also get a lot of attention from potential new client partners as well.
Wonderful. Well, obviously, from what you described, you deal with and analyze a lot of data. What can you share with us about choosing and optimizing the right data? It's something we hear about all the time, so I'm curious to get your take on it.
Yes, you're right. We do have a lot of data here at CA Fortune. And for the sake of optimizing, let's focus on just analytical data.
Sure.
The first step is really to gain a firm understanding of the objective. We have to understand the objective because that's what guides us towards what sources of data we need to include. And the idea is really to tell a story that brings this data to life. So it might sound a little silly, but who are the primary characters in this story? Is it the shopper? Is it the retailer? Is it the product manufacturer? Generally speaking, I'd say you need to be able to speak to all three of those. And what actual problem needs solving? Is it that shoppers aren't responding well to a promotion, or they're not responding well to the launch of a new product? Then what we'd want to look at is syndicated data like Spin, Circana, Nielsen, to understand what's really happening right now in the marketplace. And if we're seeing shoppers purchasing a product once but not repeating the purchase, we might want to look at survey research data and find out why the product isn't delivering on consumer expectations. Another place that we could look at is digging into shopper demographics. That's going to identify who's buying the specific brands, who's buying those specific categories, and that can tell a really great story to a retailer to help them expand and optimize their assortment. The last thing I'd say is often the most compelling piece of that story that you're writing is the resolution. So what is the upside for solving this problem? If we can, for example, help shoppers save money with a promotion, and that promotion is also going to drive sales to impact the category manager's bottom line, then that's a solution that has upside to all parties. And typically those resolutions are the most analytically compelling.
Again, a big job, but it sounds extremely interesting. And looking at consumer brands in the food retail space, obviously bread and butter, what are you seeing as some of the key trends that our listeners should be aware of right now?
Sure. In terms of overall trends, it's a really, really fun time to be in CPG. We're seeing shoppers changing their behaviors due to a number of factors. So the most obvious, the big elephant in the room, inflation, that continues to be a big concern. And we're seeing price trends that were going historically upward starting to level off. But as you surely know, a dollar doesn't go quite as far as it used to. We've seen shoppers becoming more sensitive to pack size reductions. The media has really shined a light on shrinkflation, and now it's a significant frustration for the average household. And coupling along with this inflationary pressure, private label or store brand items are seeing substantial growth. On top of that, we're seeing new product innovations for private label items. And so this can include new flavors or varieties that didn't even exist before to help that brand become more competitive. So with this type of competition that exists, I would say brands need to compete with these with lower cost options. Or the other option here is be very, very clear in communication about why this specific product is worth spending a bit more to purchase. Besides inflation, sustainability is a huge hot button right now in CPG. Shoppers are trying to do the right thing for the planet, and they're being incredibly cognizant of environment, animals, and people. We're seeing sustainably marketed products growing twice as fast as conventionally marketed items. And many shoppers are saying that they're willing to actually pay more for these types of products. So certifications popping up that can really stand apart from the competition in the marketplace. And one certification that's been popping up a lot lately is upcycling. Mm-hmm. So upcycling is where a brand will take an ingredient that they may have otherwise just discarded and they repurpose it into a new item. Animal welfare, ethical farming, those are other places shoppers are paying a lot of attention in terms of sustainability. And they're really leaning into brands that treat animals and workers humanely and investing in those products. I think a lot of shoppers are just becoming more and more aware of regenerative agriculture and also the practices in how our food is grown. We know that communication of these strategies are really, really key to success for those types of brands. So again, whether it's fair trade, upcycled, non-GMO certifications, shoppers are paying attention to what's on your packaging, and they're putting their dollars to work based on these types of values. And then finally, another very big trend that we just continue to see prioritized is health and wellness. So we've seen shoppers get more keyed into the fact that we are what we eat. So we really need to choose wisely what we put in our bodies. The functional food market is on a steep upward trend, and we're expecting to see double-digit growth for those types of products. And currently, what's interesting is we're seeing shoppers looking at these somewhat unexpected categories to help them make better choices. So one, for example, is salty snacks with more protein. You've probably seen a lot of this. Mm-hmm. That can help with energy, that can help with weight loss goals. Coffee alternatives with mushrooms that helps you get that boost in the morning without that crash later in the day. Even carbonated beverages with adaptogens and prebiotics for digestive health. So in general, families are adopting the mindset of food as fuel. And I really do believe these trends are here to stay as individuals become more and more educated on how food truly does contribute to overall well-being.
Great. A lot of trends we're seeing as well. The health and wellness, it's not going anywhere anytime soon.
No, certainly not.
Right. So switching gears, I'm hoping you can tell us a bit about how you give back to your community and other women that are coming up in the industry.
Sure, absolutely. One of the ways that I give back to the community and support other women entering CPG is through my involvement with Salt and Light Coalition. And Salt and Light is an organization dedicated to empowering women who've survived trafficking, addiction, and other forms of trauma. And I actively volunteer in the workforce development portion of Salt and Light, which equips the women with skills and confidence they need in order to reintegrate into the workforce. And their approach to trauma-informed care really sets them apart. Salt and Light ensures that these women receive the resources, the mentorship necessary to truly heal and then thrive in the second part of their journey. It's incredibly rewarding to see the transformation in these women. I've seen it a lot, just being able to witness as they gain independence and self-worth. I'd also say that it's a powerful reminder to the impact that we can have when we support and uplift each other.
That sounds like amazing work. Thank you for sharing. And finally, as I mentioned, you were recently named one of our 2024 Top Women in Grocery. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I'm hoping you can just tell me, what does being a top woman in grocery mean to you?
It means a lot. Receiving the Top Women in Grocery Award is a tremendous honor. I do remember when I started my career in CPG and seeing the winners and being just so inspired by these powerful women who were recipients of this award. And I feel just incredibly blessed to have those strong role models throughout my career, and just so incredibly grateful to be selected and serve as that same source of inspiration to other women just starting out in this wonderful industry. Thank you so, so much.
Wonderful. Well, Laura, thank you so much for sharing your insights and for being here with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. It was great.
Of course. For more information about the Top Women in Grocery podcast, please visit www.progressivegrocer.com/podcasts. You can also subscribe to this series wherever you typically listen to podcasts, including on Apple, Google, and Spotify. Finally, do you have an idea for a Twig podcast topic? I'd love to hear from you. Email me at ecrow@ensembleiq.com. See you next time, and thanks so much for listening.